There are four topics that we are covering between 4 days. Last time we covered career in finance as such, and today we are going to expand this uh, session on career opportunities in finance. I'm sure you will recollect last time we spoke about power of subconscious and career in finance. And I'm so happy to share it with you that this power of subconscious is something that everyone has to utilize, everyone has to be aware of it. Unfortunately, people are not aware, and since they are not aware, they are not able to use it. So they need to be aware, and when they become aware, they can really make an excellent career in finance, because finance is full of options, full of options. When I was thinking about it, I could I could get ideas one after the other, and so many ideas that finally I said, okay, let me stop it now, because it seems to be becoming never ending. So if we have to make a career in finance, there are a few things that we need to understand. There are a few things that we need to understand, and one basic thing I would like to start with before I hand it over to you for asking me questions that you may have on this topic. There are a few things that we need to understand, and this, of course, is what we plan to do. So this is what you see is the idea that we have. So we have already finished why make a career in finance. Today we are covering career opportunities in finance, and I'm sure those who wish to make career in finance must be more than curious to know कि उनके लिए क्या क्या ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं इन फाइनेंस, व्हाट ऑल दे कैन डू इन फाइनेंस सो एज टू मेक अ एक्सेलेंट करियर फॉर देमसेल्व्स. अगले जो सेशन है हमारा, वी विल टॉक अबाउट रोल ऑफ फाइनेंस प्रोफेशनल्स, एंड आई थिंक इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज दोज हु आर वांटिंग टू take up finance as career, they must also know and understand as to what is the role that they have to play. Only when they know as to what is the role that they have to play, they would be able to do a fantastic job and making a fantastic career in finance. And finally, the fourth day, we are going to cover how to become a successful finance professional. Now, today, of course, we are at why make career in finance. Friends, let me tell you something very, very fundamental and very, very basic. Those of you who wish to make career in finance must understand and be able to answer this question. When I joined ArcelorMittal, I realized that ArcelorMittal was such a big group. It had operations in more than 60 countries across the globe. Steel making, mining, making all kinds of steel, and with so many plants all over the world. Incidentally, for your benefit, remember, ArcelorMittal is one group in the whole world which has become so big by virtue of mergers and amalgamations and acquisitions. So when I joined ArcelorMittal, a natural question came to my mind as to Mr. Mittal has acquired plants world over, world over. He acquired plant in Trinidad and Tobago, acquired plant in Kazakhstan, acquired plant in Ukraine, acquired plant in Poland, and every Mexico, everywhere he acquired these plants from the local governments. And I have been to many of those plants, and I can tell you those plants are huge, extremely big in size, extremely big in size. And a question came to my mind as to how Mr. Mittal would have taken decisions about acquiring these plants. Because a steel making unit, a mega size steel making unit, producing, having steel capacity, having capacity to produce steel running in millions of tons, how would the company take a decision about whether to acquire this plant or not to acquire this plant? If to acquire this plant, when to acquire this plant, how to acquire this plant, and why to acquire this plant? So I was just wondering as to how the company, how Mr. Mittal will take that kind of a decision, because use is it's not that you're buying a car, that you go to a showroom and ask the salesman. He will tell you this is the MRP, you pay it and take the car home. It is a plant which has got so many variables. Sometimes mining is there, sometimes mining is not there. Sometimes the company is making long steel, sometimes the company is making flat steel. Some places the company is making both kinds of steel. So how would you take a decision whether to acquire it and whether not to acquire it? And in my course of interaction with all the executives across the globe in ArcelorMittal, I came to realize one day as to how they take the decision, and that they take the decision by answering a question, and that is, what is purpose of a business? What is purpose of a business? Now, if you are able to answer this question correctly, believe me, it becomes very easy for anyone to take a decision in finance as to whether to do it or whether not to do it. Now, I would like to ask all of you who are watching me on this show as to what is purpose of your business. And I'm sure and I know all of you will have many answers. All of you will have many answers. And most of you would say that the purpose of a business is to make a profit. And let me tell you, friends, that is where many people go wrong. That is where many people go wrong. Not only the working executives go wrong, even some businessmen also go wrong in answering this question as to what is purpose of a business. And if anyone can answer this question correctly, believe me, his career will be on a vertical growth. His career will be in vertical growth if he's a working executive. And if he's a businessman, he is going to expand his business by leaps and bounds, as they would say. So what is the answer? The answer most would say is to make profit, and I'm saying the purpose of a business is not to make profit. And I'm sure you must be wondering as to how can that be possible, how it is possible that the purpose of a business is not to make profit. And I am saying that the purpose of a business is not to make profit. And why do I say this? I say this because if purpose of a business was to make profit, and I want all of you to understand this very clearly, because if you understand answer to this question correctly, believe me, friends, your life will get transformed phenomenally. It has to transform. And if you understand answer of this question, believe me, you would have understand the purpose of your life as well. And believe me, the moment you understand the purpose of your life has to flower. Your life has to prosper. Everything has to happen in your life as you would like it to happen. So I say that the purpose of a business is not to make profit. And why do I say that the purpose of a business is not to make profit? And that is because if purpose of a business was to make profit, you and I would not see a company called Apple. Why? Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the founders of Apple as a company, in the very first few years of their operations started making profit. And they would have said, purpose of a business is to make profit. We have made profit. Purpose is achieved. Let us close the business. If the purpose of a business was to make profit, you would not see a company called Google. Why? Because Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the founders of Google, also started making profit within first few years of their operations. And they would have said, purpose of a business is to make profit. We have achieved profit. We have achieved profit. We have made profit. Purpose is achieved. Let us close the business. And if the purpose of a business was to make profit, please remember, friends, you would not see a group called Tata Empire that you see in this country today. Tata Empire, whose annual turnover is running into 10 lakh crore. And remember, more than 10 lakh crore, and 60%, more than 60% of this turnover does not come from India. It comes from outside India. So if the purpose of business was to make profit, you would not see Tata Empire. Why? Because Jamshedji Tata, more than 100 years back, when he laid the foundation of the steel plant in Jamshedpur, he also started making profit in first few years of the operations, and he would have said that the purpose of a business is to make profit. I have made profit. Purpose is achieved. Let us close the business. And if then if the purpose of a business is not to make profit, then what is the purpose? And that is the question that must be coming in your mind. And let me tell you, friends, first, why purpose of a business is not to make profit. And please pay full attention. Please pay full attention. Why purpose of a business is not to make profit? And that is because making profit in business is compulsory. Making profit in business is mandatory. Making profit in business is non-negotiable. Making profit in business is not a matter of choice. It is something that you have to do it. You have to do it. So if you are in business, you better make profit. If you are in business, you better make profit. And if you are in business and you are not making profit, the least that you can do, hand over that business to somebody who can run that business and make profit out of it. Why? Because if you are running a business and you are incurring losses, remember, you are wasting national resources. You are wasting natural resources. You are becoming a liability on the country's economy, rather than becoming an asset to the economy of the country. And as a matter of fact, friends, and you must be aware that today in our country there is a law, there is a specific law from that point of view. And what is the law? The law is IBC Code 2016, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Codes Code 2016. And what does this law say? This law says that if you are not able to run your business profitably, if you are not able to pay to your creditors on time, you have no right to remain in that business. And what you have to do, by per force, you have to give that business to somebody who can run it profitably. And that is the reason, friends, I say, and you must remember that the purpose of a business is not to make profit, and purpose of a business is not to make profit. Why? Because if you are in business, you have to make profit. You have no choice other than to make profit, because if you are not making profit, you are wasting country's resources, and you have no right to waste the country's resources. Then the question is, what is the purpose of a business? And friends, that is where I would like you to be all the more attentive. Purpose of any business anywhere in the world, irrespective of product, irrespective of industry, irrespective of geography, the purpose of any and every business on this earth is one single one, and that one purpose is to create value. Is to create value. Every business in the on this earth has to work to create value. And what is the meaning of creating value? The meaning of creating value is that a business has to do the things in a way so that it is able to convert the natural resources with the help of national resources, which are people. Convert these natural resources, that is raw material, with the help of national resources, which are the people. Convert them in terms of a goods and in terms of services. And why convert them in terms of goods and services? So that because of this conversion, you are able to make life of people on this earth more comfortable than what it was yesterday. And that is the meaning of value creation. That is the meaning of value creation. And therefore, remember, the good businessman will always focus on value creation. And that is why they will always be respected all the time. And they will not only be respected all the time, their businesses and their business empires will grow for centuries altogether. So when you see, just give me few seconds. There seems to be a little bit of technical problem, but I would sort it out quickly.